Welcome to our final game of the night. I'm back with Hill Monkey Man, who makes his first appearance on the broadcast this season. It's the Big East tournament concludes tonight. UConn takes on Xavier. The Cinderella Musketeers are ready to dance.
Yeah, this is actually a couple of teams that I typically pick whenever I do my wild world of wacky picks for my big brackets, especially for March Madness. Basically, if you guys don't know, if you pick the color blue, more than half the bracket, you're good to go. And that's exactly where both these teams sit. Like it's been kind of mentioned into this, UConn looking very special, possibly going to win this Big East. But Xavier, the Musketeers, this is a chance for them to really sign off on their ticket to get to the big show. Do you feel, Nation, that they can be able to have that magic in those old glass heels for themselves?
Well, Galaxy played a heck of a series against Villanova and beat them last week. I think if he can continue that performance tonight, it could be in the realm of possibility for the Musketeers to dance. But I think UConn, no matter what the outcome of tonight is, they're in the dance for sure.
Yeah, this is a Huskies group that has been very strong, and obviously I've seen a lot of kind of Big East in terms of stylization, and this is going to be a tough one overall for Xavier. However, outside the realm of possibility, no, because I literally just got off a separate broadcast where everyone was down 3-1 in best of 7 series, which means that these could go to a game 7. That would be quite a climactic finish, especially to be able to get into the magic and huge bracket overall. What an ending that could be. Got to be able to catch fire and play consistently. Who kind of stands out for you though, Nation, is kind of UConn really bringing that fight as a Husky group? Who's got to stand out for them to really push that early momentum?
It's Noah. Noah's the player to watch for UConn. He's done a lot of offensive damage. He's their leading scorer. That dude's a weapon on the field. But for Xavier, you're looking at Galaxy. That's going to be Galaxy and Noah on both sides going head to head. And who turns of the offense can score more? It's behind those two and what they work and do on the field. I'm excited to see who can come out on top tonight.
Hey, and also shout out to you guys in the chat. You can make sure to get a really loud out there. I already saw some UConners that are throwing out some love. So make sure if you're gonna be barking for them, do it a lot. Also, to the one guy that knew about Halo behind me, you are special. I love you so much. So as we get into this matchup, it's gonna be a long one. The first couple of games of every best of 7. Your first one's your feel out. Who's ready? Who's energetic? And who's mindful going into the beginning of it? But you have a leniency, whichever way that first one goes, the next one may follow. So we're going to be getting ready. Game number 1 is right around the corner. As long as everyone's setting fair to go, Manfield night is where we'll be ending our night. And make sure you also follow this channel. There's going to be a lot more collegiate Rocket League happening, not just tonight, but tomorrow with a double header and some Saturday action. Nation, I don't know how you do it, dude, but there's a lot of work at play, and all these awesome students are coming out to play for you.
Yeah, 178 schools involved in CCS this spring. It's a heck of a number. I'm, proud to have done it, but I'm still growing this league from the bottom up, and the price will obviously go up to 500 this season, and next season it's going to stay at 500, and I think my goal is over 200 for this summer. I think it's possible. I'm excited to see what I can do and continue to grow this league from the ground up.
Man, that's a lot of schools. You're able to do that? Look, you at least get a high five. Every one of you better be loving on Nation. I know that you guys have been doing that. I've seen y'all at Land. I need to know, Nation, are you going to be at Raleigh? Are you going to see some RLCS?
I will be in Yellowstone that weekend, so no.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, if you guys end up seeing this old bearded face out there, I'll be in North Carolina for some RLCS. So, yeah. Look, track down Nation, make sure not at his house, maybe from a safe distance, give him a wave, make sure, some respect. But otherwise, I love the work that's been happening over here. So championship week, everything ends what? Saturday, Sunday? When's our last championships before we hit big bracket?
Sunday night will be the last game here at the championship week. Then our selection committee will meet on Tuesday night, the selection show next Thursday, and that's when we'll find out where all 64 teams are headed for the opening round.
Any big surprises you think that's going to sneak in there? Obviously, you have some of these champions that are trying to sign off their ticket. Anything that feels like it could suddenly be maybe one of those once in a several season moments for some of these teams? Anyone you're looking at to really impress you going into that selection?
In terms of playing well in the tournament or getting selected for the bracket?
Maybe both. I mean, what kind of stands out to you? Something that may surprise everyone, or is it just already kind of written in the stars? Is everything already signed, sealed, delivered?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, TBH, who I think is going to play really well. There's a lot of really good teams playing this spring. Obviously,
Okay.
Akron and Drexel, I think, are teams that can go all the way again like last season, but there's
That's
so many
true.
dang good teams. Michigan State, Missouri, James Madison, all three of those teams could do more damage as well in the tournament. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited for the selection show to see what ends up happening with the committee and who they choose to be in the tournament.
Yeah, I know JMU is actually right down the road from me. Got to see them do really well in like traditional football as well. So seeing everyone kind of leveling up, not just their traditional programs, but their collegiate esports programs as well, has been pretty special. And in case you guys didn't know, I think someone is like, I don't know, 4 minutes out from joining us into this. So as we get into it late term, make sure you grab a snack. I have been literally, oh no, I threw away the wrappers. I've been existing on like peanut butter crackers. That'll make me a fat boy with a lot of sodium. I mean, Nation, what have you had for dinner? Because at this point, we're just kind of waiting for these guys to get out here.
I've not had dinner
What
yet.
you hungry for, dude?
I have not had dinner yet.
What? You guys have trapped my boy Nation here for no reason? Come on. What's happening? Oh my. Okay, what are you going to eat after this?
I'm going to DoorDash some Canes, I think.
Okay, that's so not fair because I have a Raising Cane's like a state away and I cannot have any of my own. So you and I are starving together. Are they also asking for a sub? What's happening in this chat?
They're waiting on,
What is going
they're
on?
waiting on Cap to show up. But the sub is around if they have to go that route, which it is Chalk is the sub.
That would be chalked. Ha 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 ha. All right, so we'll be getting into. Yeah, Cane's is fantastic. I think the first time I ever had that was when I was in Texas, and it's to be fair the most mid chicken in the world. However, it's the sauce.
The hate is hate's insane. It's so good.
It's good. What's up, Bepic? Yes, I am here with CCS as you guys have decidedly trapped my 36-year-old ass here on the channel, which is totally fine. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get up, and Nation was like, how would you like to stay in your chair? Which is totally valid as well. I would love to be able to see some more Rocket League, but right now we're kind of waiting on everyone to get in line. Why is Galaxy plotting? I need to know why Galaxy is plotting. What do you think Galaxy is plotting?
A tournament.
It's in parentheses.
Oh, okay. He told me this season, like a couple weeks ago, going into the tournament, that their season hadn't been the best, but they want to grind. And I told him if they make the Big East tournament final, I will do all I can to get them into the tournament. I will try my best to get to help them on the at-large selection possibility. But then he said, "Okay, bet I'm going to go grind for you. We're going to win." So we'll see if he can do it. He upset number 2 Villanova last week, so you're one step away now with the win over UConn.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I love players that not only talk, but put up what they're talking with, that are able to actually follow up with not just words, but actions. So that is fantastic to be able to hear. And knowing that they have actually put in the extra grind, the extra time, feels like that's really been paying off. But for all of that, they still got to be able to get the work done here on the pitch. And that's soon to be at least seen and a lot said as we go into Manfield here in just a little bit. So there's still a lot of time before all of this happens. Oh, okay. Paint me a picture here, Nation. We've got the calendar events. We got out to Sunday to be able to get the championships done. You've got the committee that will be meeting. Will that be live on Tuesday for the? Is it a selection show?
The selection show is live on Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, cool. So, all right. So you guys get the things done in the background. You're kind of meeting like the Fed does. You're just going to be over there on Tuesday. Okay.
We were a private little Discord call and figure out what's going to happen, and we'll figure out the bracket then. Bepic, I love Galaxy. I actually have been told Galaxy's going to hit the transfer portal for the 2025-26 season. I'm his agent. You can contact me for any inquiries regarding Galaxy transferring.
Oh my gosh. Well, for all the hate, for all the love, and for all the talk, Cap is no cap. He's in the building. We can finally get things started. Thank you guys for being so patient. We appreciate you. We love you. And we know that you're going to be cheering very loudly. UConn Huskies, you better get barking. Musketeers, you better get one for all for wanting. I don't know. Get your handshakes in. Whatever you got to do. High fives all around and tilt of the cap to you. We go to game number 1. Let's kick off this best of 7 right.
Our final game of the night. Finally ready to roll. UConn after a short delay per the casual for the Huskies, but it's a Big East tournament final. Xavier underdogs coming into tonight, but again, a big a test ahead of them is taking on UConn. Has been to three straight Big East tournament finals now. They're 1-1 in those games, looking to go 2-1 tonight.
This is definitely a college that knows when they are winning, how to stay winning, and how to stay very, very relevant into some of those big finals. They do it in the basketball most often, and they also are trying to take it into some big ball moments here. Early challenges as you got UConn trying to just keep Xavier back, but Scribb is going to loft this one high. Galaxy wants to be able to get a back pass. It's a lovely showcase of it, but that one will go wide.
Galaxy went big against Villanova last week. Galaxy fires. It's no good off the bar. Rebound also broken up by Cap. The defense remains perfect.
All the Huskies stuck in the kennel, and yet as they get unleashed, Xavier comes up just a little bit short. Galaxy with a very limited boost, dropping something honest into this middle zone. And to get confused, Irish to at least leap at the chance and the opportunity. Scribb will have to retreat back, and so far, so good for either side's answer to the call. And what a read by Noah to stop that shot.
First 90 seconds off the clock here. Xavier chance to strike, but two UConn numbers on the double commit. Able to hold that one up. Lands in trouble. It's 1-0 Galaxy. Who but Galaxy, the captain, to get the job done early on in game one.
Galaxy's full on steeple fingers as he's plotting from distance. That angle shot very tough to handle as it goes over Lamb. So as that one finds the opposite border, you have zero offense to account for right now out of UConn. 4 shots for the Musketeers, but this looks like an opportunity for UConn to start pushing them in.
And I told Galaxy and UConn tonight, good luck. And Noah told Galaxy, you'll need it. So they're ready to rumble. They're ready to fight tonight. It's 1-0 though. Xavier in front early.
They got some extra salsa for all the chippiness that's being brought to that bowl of Comets. Galaxy, let's try and force in UConn. And again, you're seeing the limitations that is really being highlighted as they want to punish Galaxy as that captain. Tries to enforce it past 2. That's a nice touch. Trying to be able to get the slowest pass I've ever seen in my life. But with no defenders, you've got a lot of time.
Xavier 2-0. 2:50 to go, and it's a quick start for the Musketeers to close the first half.
So you see that double commit. Feels like there is a want to start things fast. UConn is just not ready for the grind, for the hands, for Xavier to be as quick as they are. Now, it is all of a first game. Best of 7s are a long series for a reason. You're trying to dictate where things are going to go, especially in Big East championship form. Cap with a layup into the stripes, but no deal for anyone to find it.
Galaxy back down here for Scribb. Taking way back towards the corner. Halftime just behind us. Helmut came in. And what are your thoughts 2.5 into this one? Is it 3-0?
I feel like there was a team that was definitely ready to go. Obviously, UConn was waiting on Cap to kind of join us here into the lobby, and maybe that froze them up a little bit too much, and they're trying to get their wheels underneath them. This game in particular, Nation, might be their warm-up. Xavier, look, Galaxy was already chirping a lot just in the pregame lobby. I feel like this team is just trying to put a big stamp on what the beginning of the series is trying to be.
All these guys are best buds, and they're just, joking with each other, having some fun through it. And, they know what's on the line tonight. And Xavier knows that their season could be over if they lose this game, although there is still a chance both these teams, regardless of this outcome, find a way to dance.
Huskies have really just been tied down to a post and have not been allowed to go out and play. Scribb is going to leave that one behind. Didn't have much to offer. Confused Irish getting frozen. The ding-dong failure gong will, in fact, go off as that just comes up short. It's an awkward moment, but we're on the lam. As they're on the run, they finally break through the stalemate.
98 seconds, and the Huskies finally able to get on the board for the first time tonight. And plenty of time, though, still to go for 2 more.
You just lay something up. It feels like there was so much of this game that was already dictated and controlled by the Musketeers early. UConn has been looking for moments, and if you're Xavier, you do not let this multiply. That's going to be another one. It goes again off top shelf. That's going to be a safety moment for Xavier as they were seeing their lead really get threatened.
Xavier back to midfield, has no help as UConn breaks the traffic. Noah fires. Rebound is off the post. Rebound, that was good. Noah off the putback, finds it within 1.
The ding dong gong is also for dinner time, and these Huskies have been hungry. Noah gets a bit of extra help. I don't know if they would have been able to turn that in. Scrib just pounds them, and so that ends up being an extra push. What was 3-0 now has been limited to a single goal lead. I would start to sweat if I'm Xavier. You've got to lock in, especially with Cap slapping it down.
And UConn makes a statement, another 3-0 run in response, Hail Monkey. In 67 seconds, the Huskies are level.
3 one way, 3 another. Ignore what happened, folks. A minute 7. We're at zeros both sides, trying to turn it in. Can't quite get it beyond Cap, who's finally online and ready to go. Can they get it with Galaxy? He rings it a bit too high. A minute and less. Scrib is going to slow things down, give his teammates a chance, a moment to breathe, get some extra boost. That's a nice demo. Ooh, they barely get it around Scrib. Sorry, Cap.
40 seconds to go in regulation here. Both teams even at 3. This ball just over Galaxy. The save will be made off the post. Rebound, Noah. Back for Cap. This one just wide. Xavier hold the line there. 30 to play, and this clock has been of the essence here in game 1.
It has been timely. Now, the good news is neither team is going to be hurt by the clock going down. Overtime might be a great place for both of these teams to just settle in and find themselves a moment. Xavier obviously would have loved to maintain that lead, but UConn had other ideas. Do we have bonus Rocket League to start things off here with this best of 7 Big East final? Cap is going to take this corner, but we move on into some extra OT.
Both these teams have a good bit of fans in chat cheering them on, and it's always good fan support from UConn and Xavier. And overtime now to the side of game 1. Scrib fires, and no good. Cap off the post line to save.
There is no rest for either of these teams. Obviously, huge rivals. You think of the Big East and you think just of the pedigree that's always been between these programs, and everyone is bringing it no matter how friendly the chirping was in the pregame lobby. It's all business here, and with no one present, oh, Cap had to come through as they get that away from what could have been.
35 seconds into the extra period. Cap fires, no good. Noah retrieve possession for the Huskies of Connecticut. Noah pass across the midfield, finds Lamb and connection. Scrib will break that pass up for now. UConn remain in Xavier territory, though.
First minute has been very daring and dashing between these two. Do you have a follow-up? Lamb will ring the bars. Immediate counter as this one will slide upfield. Now, I think this is just all going to be a clear. They don't really have a design in mind. I say that, but a big pinch at least formulates something to develop here for the Musketeers. Dangerous motions. Cap has really come up and huge. He's got a free shot. That's a bouncer. They're going to have no follow. Lamb was nearby in the top of the box. Threats abound against Xavier. It's been a while since they scored, and the Huskies are trying to keep it that way.
Xavier trying to get the job done in overtime. And a couple days ago, Galaxy played 2s with Noah on UConn and was like, hey, Nation, I played 2s with the Rocks today, but I feel great. He's ready to roll tonight. They've had a heck of a start. Galaxy's had a clinic early.
Love being able to see kind of the mix-up that goes into that. He's like, you know what? I know exactly what this guy plays like. I got this. Confused Irish. Maybe getting the same ideas. He challenges this against Lamb. Lamb responsible for one of those goals that went absolutely through, saving themselves from having to look at a game loss on this series. A nice takeaway between Noah and Galaxy. A lot of fans for both those players in the chat. There's a lot of Huskies, though, for UConn that have 0 boost. It's all-in mentality. A double commit. A double tap? No. It will go off the side wall, and UConn's got to think they're lucky stars.
That they do. I mean, again, they started this game down 3-0, Hail Monkey, man. And UConn stormed back within the last minute 30 of regulation to find a way to get this game back to level, but now we've gone a couple of minutes, not a single goal.
Can anything just break between these two? Nothing has been sure. Cap is going to line up a zinger. It's a heater, but it's actually kind of a low lob, so easily fielded. 2.5 minutes and more. one big challenge and a defensive miscue on rotation might be enough. But both these teams have been very methodical about how they want to do it. You've seen a double commit offensively a time or two. Noah's trying to set up any of his teammates. Scrib has no boost, and pretty much that is the same definition for everyone. Galaxy comes up. He's got everything in the tank, but it's all in play from Noah. He's just a step too far out.
3:12 to go, Cap. Back to the corner here, and we're getting 4 minutes now without a single goal in this series. The last goal came at 1:07 for the Huskies as Noah goes high. Scrib faking a challenge. Irish left alone will clear the box there, and the Cap is alone by himself. And both these teams just can't find ways to score.
UConn looking like dogs that finally got a hold of the car bumper, but they don't know what to do with the rest of it. Going forward for the bump. That's going to be a nice demo by Confused Irish. He got boost and ball, and he's got a chance. Scrib is trying to follow up. Even more finesse. Lamb will get the takeaway. Galaxy goes high. He's got Noah on the backboard. He's going to try and bring this one low. He uses the flip reset in the back pocket. Noah will navigate it well. Scrib steps up. That's a nice challenge, but every one of the UConn Huskies is here. Noah's going to try and zing this one off the sidewall. Galaxy cannot catch up. It creates a moment of awkwardness, but luckily that one went out wide.
4 minutes now into overtime in game one. We've almost played a whole other game here in game one. As Irish fires, no good. A rebound for Scrib, also broken up by Cap, and the Galaxy will keep this ball in UConn territory for now. For the Xavier offense, as Musketeers, Hell Monkey Man trying to go to the tournament for the first time ever.
And they're forcing triple commits now out of UConn as everyone collectively was kissing each other's exhaust pipes right in the corner. Maybe you got to keep that for February. Scribbits to follow up to decide that there's just not going to be a shot there. Lamb is going to force them to go sky high, and that's in efforts to try and burn through this boost economy. We are approaching within 10 seconds, 5 minutes. This Big East championship looking to go the distance and then some before we even hit game 7. Challenge, waterfall, Cap with an opportunity. Scrib has to respect it, and everyone else will retreat.
Now 6 minutes since a goal in this series, and what a way to start this Big East tournament final. I mean, we had a crazy start to game one and a perfect last minute, and now we've played 5 minutes of overtime and an own goal ended for Xavier.
It was slotted top and high, but Irish forced them to jump. Cap knew that it was going to be a tough angle. The vacuum of Rocket League was sucking that ball in around the post. A bit of extra help, and finally the dam breaks, the water flows, and the Musketeers will take this first game.
On to game 2. We just played a 10-minute game, Hell Monkey Man. I mean, thoughts now going to game 2. We pretty much have already seen 2 complete games, but that was only one game.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. My thoughts in plurality and pureness is that Xavier was obviously ready before Connecticut was. Cap came in late, and it felt like they were not really kind of warmed up. Very much true. And so they took the entirety of that game to finally get themselves in, pecking order. This time, Connecticut, and even with 3 in a row and it being 6+ minutes since we, had that last goal there to equalize everything, it was about who could stand the test of time. And finally, it's who would break. And as we now move our way into Forbidden Temple, we got a map 2, folks. I hope you're ready for the long haul. This could be a fun one.
Could be a long haul. I'm excited though as well. And I think, if Xavier can continue this fight, I know UConn's going to respond. And this is a UConn team that beat San Diego State earlier on in the year, so they know what it takes to hang on and win these tight games. So I'm fully expecting this to at least go to game 6 now, with Xavier having a win in game 1.
I mean, if you count the first one as 2, we're already in game 3. So, all intents and purposes, we're probably going to see that regardless. Cap going to put it on a shot. Big save out of Galaxy. And one thing that definitely kind of slowed up a bit is how the defense could break out of their back half. Saw UConn have to traverse through those steps at the beginning of the game, considering how fast and feisty the offense was out of Xavier. But then Xavier did struggle. Even though they found answers to the shots that finally were coming through, found themselves, a little bit more timid about how they wanted to answer that offense. As Cap goes for the flip reset, we're back at neutral ball.
Irish fires. Streb redirect, couldn't force it over. Noah. Galaxy back towards UConn's corner in this first minute. highly eventful in the Yukon side. Galaxy and this Xavier offense have had a couple of good looks, but their defense, I feel like it's gotten better since that overtime where they were scared a couple of times, but Yukon's offense couldn't put it away. Now they've adjusted well so far into game 2.
Yeah, UConn definitely had that full man rush whenever they're like, you know what, we found a crack in the armor, let's absolutely capitalize, and then they turned it into crazy sequences. Scribb was hoping for either a bump or a tight squeeze floor pinch. Neither ended up happening. Love the challenge here by Galaxy. Got a fresh set of boost in one corner, did it in the other corner. I do worry about the rest of his teammates being able to handle that one. Galaxy comes through as he bails everyone out, Big Brother style.
A huge save for Galaxy, but a whip in front. That fires no good. Ooh. And 2 minutes off the clock. Yukon's offense, a couple of great looks gone by the wayside.
Nation, this is feeling exactly like what we saw in overtime. We got to see that one break because of one good shot. Cap ends up helping it bury, and I feel like we're right back to square one from when we were in bonus time. Swing and a miss. This one goes off the top shelf. Cap is trying to at least present a second chance as they go behind Lamb. Scribb doesn't have any boost, so we got to deal with this. They cannot get it with 2 cars flying. Lamb surely did.
And it felt like a continuation, too, because it ended with an own goal, not even an actual goal that was deserved. But 2:38 to go, UConn finally put away the first real goal since a minute 7 remaining in game 1.
You say that wasn't a real goal? I totally understand what you mean. But yeah, it definitely felt like this one kind of went through into to actuality. Oh, their bumper, confused Irish. They got the demo. They're gonna try for the handoff. A heater and a half as that one just crushes some bricks on the back end of the orange goal. So 2:18 approaching and less, as UConn has not allowed the early start by Xavier that they had in game number 1. They've been able to multiply pinball style. Wow, no, just the 1 goal so far.
Almost another own goal there for Xavier, credited back to UConn. They almost gave him an own goal right back, but still remains 1-0 here in game 2 as Xavier, the Musketeers, trying to get this game back to level.
Been difficult. They've been seeing a fearlessness that was not really present in the early minutes of game number 1 out of UConn. I love the delay and decay of the drop down on the bounce of that, but still, you are getting a lot of reps defensively. But if there's anything that any team doesn't want to hear, is that this team plays great from behind. You want to see them become an offensive powerhouse whenever they have chances to roll. Oh, unfortunate timing. Confused Irish. They were going for the squishy save setup, and they took advantage.
And Irish just got caught in the back of the net there. Couldn't get back down in front to make the save. 2-0, a minute 22 to play.
Everyone's parlays and over-unders are apparently just going to hell in a handbasket based on this this current series and these first 2 games. So, sorry, gang, you're going to have to kind of reset your bets, see if you can get a second chance moment. Galaxy finally seeing bluer sidewall for all of a brief moment. I mean, goodness gracious. We are set for this to be a completely lopsided adventure here, Nation. 9 shots to just the 2 out of the Musketeers.
58 seconds to go. Galaxy towards the corner. Back for Cap in front of the box. Cleared away by Scribb. Under a minute to go. The Musketeers need 2 to get back into this one.
45 seconds. This is feeling a lot more clinical out of UConn. Now we have seen some late game theatrics, some drama, some good old cinema. And that was out of UConn themselves. Trying for the 1-2 crush punch. Lamb will track that down. And I mean, wow, Lamb has been kind of beastie with no boost, ringing off of the old crossbar, but this team feels confident that they can answer the call wherever this ball's going.
20 seconds, Scribb bumped off of that ball, gives UConn possession in Xavier territory. Good front clear from Irish, and UConn, again, they've dealt well with the press early, but if you're Xavier, you have to find a way to create pressure in the UConn zone here in game 3 going forward.
Oh, what a save by Cap. Unfortunately, the pressure against the Musketeers has definitely rendered out some diamonds, as this one will get us into a 1-1 series. Connecticut, good old Huskies, they will run this one down. We go best of 5 style heading to game number 3.
Yeah, 1-1, best of 5. The rest of the way, technically we've played 15 minutes of game time, but only 2 games into it.
So long game one, and generally whenever you see those long game ones, 11 shots to 3, by the way, and even for all the flurry of blows that were happening with Xavier, only 5 saves. So a lot of that was kind of ringing off the post. But when you see a long game, regardless, then the follow up, you usually think, okay, well the team that won the previous seems to have maybe a momentum burst, a chance to really kind of get everything moving the right way. That was not to be said, and I feel like you and I did agree. Even when they kind of forced the issue, Cap ended up helping him out into that top corner shot. The beginning of game number 2 felt like it was just more of overtime. Game number 3, this is now both the leniency games out of the way. I say, confused Irish. Me too.
It's a kickoff goal that UConn just didn't read correctly. Cap missing that simple touch off the wall, and sets up Xavier for a quick score, and 3 seconds into it. You love to see that if you're Xavier.
Xavier will take anything that they can get. They just gotta force the issue against this squad. They're also forcing up a couple from these kickoffs. Not exactly like in the set piece that they're getting out of that, but man, Lamb is basically my favorite player on this entire pitch. I don't know what they're doing, but they've decided that boost ain't it. They just got to go and get this ball regardless of what's in the tank.
Yeah, and these freebie goals don't come at a premium, so you take those goals when you get them if you're Xavier. When UConn gives you a freebie, which rarely ever happens.
So we're finally getting some of those sequence of connections. Fluidity between Scrib and Confused Irish. A lot of the setups in game number 1 were definitely set up by Galaxy. They know that they have to sit him down. If there's anything that Huskies are generally good at, it's sitting. Well, they'll scare these guys into the corner. Noah will get a slow one, but look at Lamb with a takeaway versus those 2 defenders. That was nice.
That beautiful touch sets up Noah to go fake out the rest of the defense. 4:10 to play. Both teams on the board in the opening minute.
Navigating very narrow spaces through all of these musketeers. Lamb, see Noah boom that one up. He will have no extra boost, so we have to kind of move our way between the first 2 of Cap and Noah to move upfield. Again, ooh, a dicey angle, ambitious. There's not a lot of boost between these squads. You're going to see Lamb all the way into his corner. They have to separate, so perimeter play does force everyone to go out their own ways. Scrib sees Galaxies. Can he get a doink? Can't quite connect underneath the ball.
Now UConn in transition. Lamp over 1 here. Galaxy low boost. The tank will cover the clear for now, though. And these first 90 seconds, how much I mean, I feel like UConn, since that game 1 kind of didn't go their way, they've started to lock in defensively. Their offense has created more natural opportunities. They're limiting the offensive Xavier. They just saw those 3 shots occur in game 2, so their offense has been very limited since game 1.
Yeah, we've entered a dimension where now dogs actually hold the leash on the handler, and that's definitely what it was early on for Musketeers as they guided those Huskies wherever they please. But since then, it has been so tough for anything to acclimate or accrue for this Xavier group. This is going to be an awkward read. They are able to get through it well. Backboard, extra time on it as Galaxy is going to force Confused Irish to squint just a little bit for some head wrinkles. Nice flick, maintaining control. Scrib has basically duct tape on the top of their car. Keep that ball on it, but Galaxy will be isolated as a backlinesman, and he'll go one-on-one against Lamb, and Lamb gives his team a chance to move upfield.
Half time. Oh, that's an own goal.
Well, hold on.
Screw is disconnecting.
Yeah, right there.
I think.
Oh, man.
He's going through it.
Woo, yeah. Scribby got 300 ping. Woo. I don't know what's going on with that. Someone send a doctor for the network, because that is hemorrhaging bits.
It really is.
Okay. Well, we can only hope that gets better and not worse. I say it looks like it's improving. The defense is going to show up. Oh my goodness. When it rains, it pours.
2:06 to go, and it's a 2-goal lead now for the Huskies, and Irish almost found the save there, but play continues, and UConn lead 2.
Oh man. Hopefully the weather does not continue to bring it down upon Scrib, but regardless of what's happening there, you do have UConn that's like, you know what, we're gonna continue to batter you, and you're gonna get fried as well, as they immediately get another score. It becomes 4-1, and so things going a bit sideways here, nation.
In game 3, they have been. Everything is going wrong for Xavier here. 1:58 to go, and the Huskies looking for a 2-1 advantage.
All right, sub 2 minutes. This one got a little bit squirrely after being pretty consistent throughout the majority of the game. It was a great opener for Xavier, and then you have, well, basically not much thereafter. Scrib is trying to see if the world exists. Oh, a chance. Even it just feels like the universe is against you whenever the bar just doesn't let the ball bend the right way.
It really does. And it's almost another one there for Lamb off that double. Minute 30 left to play. Xavier trailing 3. As game 2, even at the start, UConn just has had complete dominance, and Xavier sitting at just 3 shots again, Hell Monkey Man, here in game 3.
I mean, yeah, living with limitations, and it's definitely starting to show. Whew. Scrib living in a different world as that one goes bouncing on by. Confused Irish trying to provide Galaxy as much as a 2v3 support as they can. Scrib gets turned into paste. I'm sure he'll see that manifest later on. As a minute will be forthcoming here into game number 3. Extra shot. Scrib sees it literally an hour later, and we're at 5-1.
56 seconds. UConn add in. Oh, his ping looks pretty good now. 28.
There it is. Yeah. Okay.
He might be back to good.
You took a leaf blower outside and moved the clouds. That has to be it, right? I think that's how climate works. We can actually fight climate change with power tools. So, in case you guys didn't know, it's science. All right. Well, I don't think that this game is salvageable, and I'm just glad to see that the connection will be there. So hopefully that persists. I do feel bad for Scrib, but you got to feel for UConn, who's able to get a couple games in a row with just over a half minute to go.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think even with even thing for Scrib for that whatever minute 30 it was, where he was lagging pretty bad. I mean, it still probably isn't a very favorable score, as UConn's offense has just been dominant, limiting the offense at 3 shots again for Xavier. You have to at least change that if you're going to have a chance to win here.
Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like they have to be able to find a string of successes. It cannot be this individual style. There's definitely a slowness that has been brought to them. I'm not looking at the end of this game any further to really see what their identity is. They're going to take a moment. They're going to check the connection. They're going to chill out. They're going to find a moment of calm. Even Scrib is like, all right, let me chill out. And the restart call is coming through. So UNI Nation, I'm not at all surprised, considering that the majority of that game was literally Scrib living inside of like a just an oil painting. They can't really do too much about it. Connecticut, though, was bringing the hands, and that was even before the connection started going sideways. This is a team that knows how to counterpunch and to slam down the gavel. Lamb has been playing just completely in the face of the Musketeers. Noah has been a utility player, and Cap has been a sharpshooter. Nothing has been lacking for this UConn group once they finally all got together.
And again, UConn shooting just 5 of 10, so 50%, a hard percentage to compete with.
Yes, they are in fact restarting. Okay, so ooh-woos and everyone's in the chat as we will be going into game number 4. So a pivotal moment. Obviously, Xavier trying to make sure everything is sticking kosher competitively. A little bit of integrity to the old connection there, but with them as well, UConn has a chance to go into match point. And I think you had mentioned here that even with the upset over the number 2 just a little bit ago of Villanova with his Xavier group, they still have to basically win this. So if you're ever entering championships, which they are right now here for the Big East, you got to win it if you're going to even get a seat at the table. So the pressure is on. And hopefully with Scrim now rejoining us, they're able to handle it.
We'll have to wait and see. What ends up happening is game 4 is ready to roll, and chat says Galaxy's plotting his own demise.
Well, you can be in control of one thing. It's how you play individually. You hope that all works in connection with your teammates. But let's see how everything does go. Confused Irish stays back as he saw both of his squad mates in the corner together, trying for another swift setup. Noah What an immediate follow and answer. Scrib, ooh, elevating that one, showcasing that it was all bit rate that was battling him away.
First 30 seconds gone here in game 4. The Huskies looking for a 3-1 lead and putting Xavier on match point with a trip to the tournament on the line. As Noah looking for a double here. Reset, didn't get back to it. And the opening minute still staying with the ball in the Xavier territory with UConn in possession.
A little bit of miscomms there. Scrib, I don't think saw that Confused Irish had a chance to really whack that ball either into a threatening position or otherwise. Noah trying for the 360 off of the reset, seeing what they can get anything from it, and everyone's just forcing the defense to jump. And now Cap has been turned into a ball in a play place, and as they finally get out of the ball pit, Scrib is in no man's land. Lamb lifts it high, but they delete Cap before a shot manifests. Noah keeps him honest, and this defense is under fire.
This defense has been lights out since game 2. Helmut came in game 1. It's a warm-up game, and Cap literally woke up from a slumber and came back to this game. So it took a minute to wake up and get warmed up. I think once he's gotten adjusted to this series, UConn has been in the driver's seat, holding Xavier to just 6 shots in 2 games.
If there's anything that I've been impressed with for Rocket League players is that they know how to nap like us mid-30-year-olds. Something about it, just they're like, you know what, a good nap feels great, and I completely agree. But so does a slap like this one. Confused Irish taking advantage of a loose ball moment, and it was swung high, and Lamb just couldn't get ready for the connection.
And Irish puts Xavier back on top here in game 4. Helmut came in up 22, and I'm the same age as some of these college kids, and even I feel like an unk.
Look, man, solid naps. Get into your rotation. It will mess you up, but there's just something about it. It's like a drug. Oh, first couple of minutes, Galaxy, he's able to get one, was hoping for another. Gotta have this communication. That's a waterfall, and that's a giveaway. Cap will punish.
254 and UConn back to level here. Just a bad defensive touch, so sets up an open target, and UConn will pounce on the opportunity.
Got to make sure that even in those moments, it feels like it's an easy call, that you might have the sure thing. What are you doing with that ball? Because there could be follow-ups that are absolutely detrimental to your team. And we got to see that in real time. Fuse Irish will toss this one into the forward quadrant. That's going to be an honest shot, and that's an honest bang. The man was disconnected before, but he finds a connection now.
Scrib, 2-1. The Musketeers shooting musket balls at the UConn net. Monkey man, and halftime about 6 seconds away. Xavier, a heck of a job in response compared to game 3.
We've had very few shots across on average by Xavier, but it takes a long time to load musket balls. So that's why you got to have all your guns already reloaded and ready to go. More than halfway here in game number 4, a necessary one to win if Xavier wants to keep a Big East championship realistic. Oh my goodness, the fake out, swing and a miss. It's a 1v1. Cap has some boost. It could be a passing play, just a nice high kipper. But unfortunately for Galaxy, that was too easy to read.
Noah off the sidewall, no double, back down for Lamb, 50. And to go to the left side of the field now, 2-minute warning. In game number 4, is UConn almost a chance there to strike, but Xavier still in front.
Love the recovery there. Confused Irish was kicked out of his own club, and then he's like, you know what? I'm making a new one right up here as his fortress turned into that forward running swing. Confused Irish will leave it over to Scrib. 1v1. Can Cap be able to do it again? They delete Confused Irish. Where's Galaxy? He'll be in his own corner. They're trying to get some demolitions going. Physicality online for the Musketeers. Oh, he'll be bumped into this. It's a chance. It will angle in. Confused Irish turns into a 2-goal lead.
And the Musketeers continue on, Hill Monkey. 124 the lead, back to 2. This series is a minute away from equilibrium.
We've seen these kinds of leads. Different strokes, different folks, different ideas. Then can they hold? Can they build? It's been easier said than done to find success against UConn, but it feels the emotion, the turn of the tide has really shifted in favor of Xavier. They took a game off to get themselves sorted, and I think they've gotten themselves a great place.
This is a heck of a UConn team, a very storied roster. in my casting career. They played a couple of leagues I've been fortunate to be a part of, and they've done a lot of damage in CCS in the tournament in recent history. And again, I think this is a UConn team that could do a lot of damage this spring. They're one of the higher end teams in the country. I'm excited to see what they can do, as I think they're dancing for sure, regardless of tonight's outcome. But Xavier just feels like a must win, although there is still a slight chance that Musketeers could dance with a loss.
There's something to be said about a team that's got just nothing to lose. Go out, play, see what you can do. Force the team that should on paper be better than you to prove it. And if there's anything that we're getting out of this team, it's some heart, some soul, and some absolute feel-good magic. Confused Irish will try and give that one back to Galaxy, who will rotate out. Scrib has come back alive. He will fight storms. He will fight Huskies. He will fight through everything and more. We're going to be tied up going into game number 5. Still plenty of Rocket League left to be played.
I said earlier I'd go to 6. We're guaranteed a game 6 now, Hell Monkey Man. So maybe that prediction will hit like flying a line, but it's 2-all game 5 coming up with a match advantage on the line.
Whew. Man, you know what? There is a good part of me, like a enjoyable part of me that just loves not seeing this team go down because of technicality. I hate when technology gets in the way. I want this to be a hell of a fight. That's exactly what it's turned into and what it's been. Glad to see the Musketeers back into this one. Not to put an asterisk onto a series, just leaving it on the table. We go to Salty Shallows. Let's hit up game 5.
Getting back in the lobby, I lost connection, and I'm back in 5 seconds into game 5. I apologize about that. I got kicked out. Game said, screw you.
Well, you know what? Technology be damned. It is literally out for everyone, as these UConn Huskies are out for blood. Couple of great connections by Cap, and he will slap that one all the way into a first goal.
UConn tried DDoSing Scrib. They said they still lost, and they was like, all right, we got to go DDoS the producer now. 4:41 to go. UConn in front.
Goodness, you know what? Ain't no one safe. Exactly what we're looking for. They're just trying to turn it all on. But you know what? They're hella high water or Salty Shallows. We'll see this one continue on. 30 seconds. Kind of a misplay. Galaxy will get a demo. They'll force everyone to at least chase after it, because that becomes a possession mode there for Galaxy. Trying to get tricky. He'll find that corner boost. Haven't seen Noah in a minute. Noah definitely has been kind of supplanted between Lamb as well as Cap. There is no one at home, and that's going to be a quick 2.
That one's good from Noah. 4:11, you called his name, he answered the call.
There you go. All right. Just got to ask him. Like, hey, pretty please, are you going to play? And they're back. Cool. All right. So 2-0, and that's inside the first minute. This one, different characteristic, different feel at this point in time. Obviously, you had the hero's welcome and the return to form out of Xavier, but this one feels like UConn has gotten right back to work.
4 minutes to play here in game number 5. Xavier, a chance there. Lamb will hold off the line for the Huskies, as Xavier just looking for their first strike here in game 5 to get on the board and get this game back within 1.
Go back into it, forcing a double commit. Get everyone moving back through. Oh my goodness. That actually leaves a gap in the defense. Scrib, if he's able to get there, might have been able to scrub away some difficulty. But now look, we are back in the exact same cycle. Everything has been going right to left, seeing what they can be able to up in and force the UConn Huskies to chase after them. That's a fantastic back pass and a wonderful read. Wow. Cap is getting that one in stride. Here we go again, though. Scrib, he's walking away from that effort, and it feels like that one could have been a tertiary moment to try and get on the board.
That could have been. 3 minutes ago, though, here in game number 5. Xavier with everything on the line. Hell Monkey Man, a win here gets them 1 game away from the tournament.
Scrib with the tosser. Lamb's going to pick that one up easily. Trying for a ceiling reset. Leaves at least Galaxy a lot of time now that he has no boost. So this is just a full-on challenge. They do at least get 2 to jump. There is a momentary gap. No connection by Scrib. It feels like there's not the same kind of design in mind out of Xavier like we had for the last few games. Everything seems like, all right, let me drop it here and see if something hits. That's going to be on target. No one will fill the gap. But again, it's it's not exactly complex for the Huskies to solve.
Halftime, just behind us, UConn lead 2-0 at the break point. Now Scribb in transition, has it for himself, and go over the first defender Cap. In a little bit of trouble here, drops it down in front. Noah there for the clear in time for the Husky defense. Irish fires wide. Lamb now in transition for the Huskies, and a demo in midfield as a lead blocker. That's 2 dead from Cap, but nothing there.
There's a lot of honesty being given. And you know what? I'm a person that's all about telling the truth, but sometimes I need some deceptiveness. I need some bullying. That's not just kinks. That's also gameplay. Swing and a miss. Deceitful, as they at least force them to go for that. But I need to see if Xavier can start making some off-ball plays, be able to get this into some stranger places for UConn to read, because it has basically been an easy narrative. Nothing around this is screaming 12th grade level. It's all just a lot of coloring book. Cap is going to lift this one high, and away we go. And this has just become a clinic of, can the UConn Huskies take things away from Xavier?
Xavier's out shooting UConn 8-3, but the score is 2-0. Big difference, but Xavier's offense just can't come up with the goals, and UConn's defense has held off pressure well with a minute to go.
Wow. When they needed defense the most, it does show up there. Lamb's going to test them again. It's a slow dropper, and look how much gap and look how much space is being just surrendered by UConn over to Xavier. They're like sending a guy, and then they're playing off of a challenge from there. That's going to go underneath the crossbar and out. So it's really just kind of good fortune for Xavier that they are not in a worse situation. However, it's the same outcome whether it's 1 or 10-0. 30 seconds to go. They've got to score here soon if they want to have really a semblance to bring this game back.
Yeah, they probably have like 10 seconds to score. Give yourself with the kickoff and one look afterwards. Now Galaxy trying to get out of harm's way, but couldn't as Lamb keeps this ball in play. 10 seconds to go. Now Scribb has to score here, which he's not going to do.
This one should put it on ice or into less saltier waters, whichever way you want to be able to drill it. But match point has been acquired, and that one will slap down, and one more time the defense sees it in their back box. I'm not going to lie to you, nation. That one put me to sleep. And it's because of the clinical defense and then efficiency we got out of UConn. And you had said that they had way less shots, and suddenly they put up a lot of bluster late in that game.
Yeah, again, they were at 3 shots with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe left in the clock, and they finished the game with 8, and they tied Xavier. They didn't let Xavier take a single shot in what felt like a long time.
So we go to Neo Tokyo. This is the pinnacle of gatekeeper maps. Xavier, the Musketeers, they need to pull out game after disconnection Scribb. This team cannot think that the pace of play will stay as it was a moment ago, and then they will be successful. It must turn around here if they want to take on a Game 7 for this Big East Championship, already forcing the defense to answer the call.
Xavier's played UConn close, which is still, good in terms of their resume. Playing solid teams close. If they can get UConn to Game 7, I like their odds better, but Noah starts out Game 6 with a double.
Playing it close is also the same thing as having first loser in second place. Noah knows that championship lines begin with great motions. They get that off a dunk in 19 seconds, taking on the world. You know what? I'm sorry that I ever doubted you, Noah. I was just waiting for stuff like that.
30 seconds almost off the clock, and the Huskies have broken the press once and trying to do it again here as they've caught Xavier lacking defensively a couple of times tonight, creating those number advantages and finding ways to get shots that go through the holes. And I think when you look at this on paper, UConn's a heavy favorite, but you still have to give credit to the fight that Xavier's shown tonight.
Definitely loving what I've seen so far, but I want to see more. I'm a needy person. I am very, very wanting to see highlights. I want to see people really bring that fight. You cannot let a season go kind of washed away. Fantastic challenge, an even better effort defensively. Scribb is trying to set this one up as a long ball chance out from midfield. Lamb and Noah are on the ground. Look for a demo. Look for a shot. A double commit is not what you want to get. A 3-man rush. They have the communication, but Galaxy traverses through what was basically a minefield field. Noah with a flip reset, and they will survive.
Irish back to midfield, open space, Galaxy, open target, it's good. 1-1.
An explosion and balloons with confetti. Exactly how my 21st birthday looked, but far less cars on fire. Oh, no, wait, that one is right there. My bad. 1-1. A minute 27. You guys, I got stories to tell. I'm old enough that I can actually say that with full confidence.
Our 21st birthdays seem very much different compared to one another. Yeah, look at
Look, things happen in Texas, okay? Oh,
that they do.
It's wild times.
Well, 3:20 to go, and UConn Xavier even at 1, but we're through 5.5, really 6.5 games if you count the 5 minutes of overtime we played all the way back in game 1. Yeah, puts the Huskies back on front.
That one it was allowed way too much space. Galaxy, obviously, he kind of lost that from Noah. You had the immediate challenge. Then, I mean, Cap has the world to look at, and eventually is just going to go for another big dunk. So UConn gets it back every single second, every single minute. These are premiums that are tough to pay on Xavier money. Galaxy's going to tell his teammates, stick around. He can't get it beyond Cap. That was a great defensive position as they want to stop this passing play. They will still try to crowd the box, but they'll break out.
They got the pass across too, but couldn't quite connect on putting the shot away. Now you need one to fall in the next 3 minutes if you're Xavier to get this to at least minimum overtime, and if 2 more to fall to get this to game 7.
Fused Irish, not a lot of boost. He'll just sky this one upwards. Still, though, with the way that UConn is kind of creeping together, they can take advantage of these moments. However, you have to find the ball. If you don't find a connection, you're just letting it go into what UConn is comfortable with, and that's just open field touches. Confused Irish, that's backboard. If Galaxy had anything in the tank, could be thinking about something squirrely and stylish. More than midway through game number 6. Call it 7. Call it championship, whatever. You've got this Big East moment, and all of UConn is bearing down upon Xavier.
2-minute warning here in game 6. UConn still leading 1. It's a minute 58 away from a second Big East tournament title after getting revenge from last season's loss to Villanova in the tournament final. Both those two teams dance. We'll see if the Big East can get a second bid for the tournament as Cap finds a third.
Cap gets another one, and I think that they also, well, they're 2 out of 3, and you have just a surplus of shooting being done. It's been doubled up 8-4 shots. Xavier's starting to look weak. They're starting to look fragile, and their knees are shaking. The weight of the world's on them to try and win the Big East, to give themselves an inkling of getting to the big dance. Confused Irish upwards to Galaxy, but that ends up in the hands of some Huskies.
Big East 6 schools here in CCS, and will be a 7th in the summer as Providence is set to join the league.
So much value being added every single season that I get to see CCS go forward. That is a double commit. You got one man back. Cap will have that corner boost. Galaxy has to win this one from around the corner. Cannot do it. And in fact, Cap has another follow-up. He's got no on the other side. Neo Tokyo. It's a brand new place of Japanese glory, but it's where these players have seen it time and time again. You got to continue to win in these territory moments. Scribb is being pressured by Lamb. Noah's got Cap on the other side, and with a minute approaching, Nation, Huskies can just run this clock.
They got 50 seconds. Xavier has to score in the next, what feels like probably 15, 20 seconds if they can. Get this game back within 1 with about 30 seconds to go if you can.
Good catch. Double commit again. They're just sending the house, and they're being unpunished for it. That's exactly the confidence that UConn has. They try to bump into Galaxy. Early read. They get it past 1. They know they have a sure thing in Lamb. He's going to play it cool, calm, and collected. A lot of composure here for this player. Well, he's very dead now. Even dead bodies can keep it calm. That's a shot. That's a bump. That's a save. Lamb comes back alive.
That one has to fall if you're Xavier. Irish back off the wall, past the midfield. Scribb goes high, double attempt, 1-on-1. Couldn't place it. Rebound also turned away. And I think that'll do it.
Failure gong rings high, and unfortunately that's a pitch that you wish you didn't hear if you're Xavier. One extra. GGs and high fives and championships won here in the Big East. UConn, they'll be taking this one. What a fight by the Musketeers. but this was simply all for one with UConn.
And the Huskies will dance again for a third straight season. Now Xavier's hopes rely solely in the hands of selection committee for an at-large to dance for the first time.
That's a tough one because, I mean, you look at what they were doing. I would say that their resume is pretty decent. You have obviously taking UConn to it, and they had moments where it felt like this one had a huge chance to send it to the extension of the entirety of the series. A game 7 could have been there, but I mean, you look at the committee nation and what it coulda, shoulda doesn't do enough to really pan things out. It's what happened on the pitch and on paper, and that's what they measure things for the big bracket. But congrats goes over to UConn. Huskies, you made it in.
That they did. I feel like if Xavier could have connected after game 1 with another winning game 2 or 3, and let's kind of open things up 2-1 or 2-0, heck, if they could have done that, things could have been very different for the Musketeers as UConn is able to win 3 in a row. So that kind of stopped any morale of Xavier's momentum boosting.
You know what? I did love that we at least got to see some hella fight out of Scribb. You have those technical issues that kind of pop up, and sometimes that ruins the entire mood for playing the game in the first place. But they came right back and they won very dominantly to force that fourth game to be tied up afterwards. So job well done. I feel like Xavier has definitely showcased that they can fight hard when in moments when they need to. Came up short tonight, but you know what? That's what you get for these big championship moments, and there's still more of those to come later this week, Nation.
Still a lot more games to come tomorrow through Sunday night. We'll see you all tomorrow at 7 Eastern for more tournament action. As it's been Nation and Hell Monkey Man. Thanks for watching. So long for the Big East Tournament.